Hello, everyone, and welcome to March Madness preview with me and Tommy. We're gonna do a little special here, take you through every weekend of March Madness, and tournament kicks off today. The first round and the first game start in just under 2 hours. Obviously, we had
First four.
the first four the past 2 nights, and before we get into any bracket stuff, what stood out to you from the first four?
So really, for the New Mexico Texas game, because that was the first game,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna really talk about the 16 seeds. But
Yeah.
the New Mexico Texas game, I do not like either team against BYU at
Yeah.
all. I think just seeing how they play, because I watched the Maui tournament at the beginning of the year where both those teams were in it and Seton Hall was in it too.
Yeah.
So I watched them both play. New Mexico looked horrible against all those teams. Texas did not look great. Texas lost to, like Boise State in that tournament.
Mm.
I just don't think any of those teams are that strong, and I think BYU is going to beat them by 10 points.
Yeah. I do like BYU in that matchup against Texas because, like you, I didn't really find anything I loved about either team. The one thing about Texas is they do have some good quad one wins. I think they do have some great wins.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, BYU does probably have the best player in college basketball, debatably
100%.
behind Cam Boozer and
Yeah.
AJ DeBonsa. However, they're also without their best shooter, Richie Saunders, who's out for the year, and he's been a very vital piece of that
Did
team.
he get hurt before the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'd agree with you that I definitely like BYU in that matchup. It's my only six that is advancing.
Uh-huh.
We'll get into that later, but I was not impressed with either of those teams.
Nah.
On the other hand, SMU Miami Ohio, I thought that was a great game, and it did start off a little slow. They were
Both
both
teams
missing
weren't shooting
shots,
well, yeah.
sloppy, but towards the end, I could see both of these teams being tournament teams. I think
Yeah.
the difference obviously was Miami
Three-point shooting.
Ohio shot the cover off the ball.
And also with Miami too, like they answered every single bell. Right when you thought SMU could come back in that game, it got to like a
Yeah.
7-point game. Miami just hit like a dagger three to put it back up to 10. I think they look good. They also had the home court advantage, which you
Definitely.
have to take into account.
Which
too.
definitely helped.
Yeah.
I think they look great. You know, they shot 41 threes, which I think broke a first four record. Made 16 of them. That's 40%. That'll get it done. If they can shoot like that, they can be pretty dangerous
Yeah.
because they did look good.
And the broadcaster said last night too, which I agree. There's more to this Miami team than just their 3-point shooting. Like
Yeah.
the first half, they were 6 from 9 from inside the 3-point range. I say their weakness is probably their foul shot and their defense.
Mm.
I think their foul shot did not look good.
Yeah, the difference in this game was definitely the three ball because if SMU doesn't go 24% from three, then they
would've
probably
been
win
won.
because they were dominating the paint for most of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
They had one more rebound overall, a lot more offense. Actually, in the beginning of the game, it was tons of offensive rebounds for both teams. That kind of evened out, but it was definitely the three ball that kind of determined this game. And another thing was Miami Ohio did a great job of limiting Boopy Miller,
Yeah,
who's
they shut down.
probably their best player when BJ Edwards is out. He did not look comfortable at all. He ended with I think he ended with like 12 points, but he didn't look very comfortable shooting the ball at all. They were double teaming him. I think that was working well.
That worked really well. It's a trap.
He had nowhere to go because they were trapping him as soon as he came off of the ball.
Yeah. So I say we go and start in the East because it's definitely the hardest region
Yeah.
so far. And Duke versus Siena, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna go Duke.
Yeah, I like Duke too. I think the big game
Is the first big
is
game?
Ohio State TCU, which is
that's
the
the
first
first
game
game
of the
of the year.
tournament. I feel like both these teams are great. I think both these teams, obviously they have some bad losses, but I think they have the talent to be higher than they are. I like Ohio State.
So do I.
I think Ohio
Ohio
State's
State's
playing
looked
better
really
basketball.
good recently.
Yeah, they have.
And I like the Big Ten in this tournament too.
So do I. The Big Ten's been. People would say the Big 12's been the best conference.
Yeah.
I think it's been the big. I feel like there's a lot of Big 12 teams out there that are kind of frauds.
Something else I don't like too about the whole NCAA football, basketball, like the SEC gets 10 bids while the Big Ten and the Big 12 get 8.
Yeah, some of the
I
SEC
just think the
teams
SEC
that got
is overrated.
bids.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like some teams did not deserve that bid. And
No,
you can disagree.
I
with
would
me if you want.
definitely agree. Like Alabama, in my opinion, I wouldn't
I
consider
think
them
St.
contenders.
John's is way better than Alabama.
Kentucky, I wouldn't consider a contender. Texas A&M's debatable if they should have gotten in.
The only really Big Ten teams or big SEC teams I consider contenders are Arkansas. I like.
I like Arkansas.
Florida. I like. I think Vanderbilt can make a little bit of a run.
That's it
That's
for
really
me.
it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely it for me.
Out of 10 bids, 30% can actually have a shot of going somewhere. I think it's absurd.
Yeah, it's not really great. Other big games in this bracket is definitely going to be Louisville, South Florida. That's everyone's big upset pick, and I also like that here.
I
with
pick South Florida.
yeah, well, Mikel Brown Jr. is actually going to be out. Who's Louisville's best player? He's one of the best players in the ACC. They're going to be without him, so I think this definitely,
It's
yeah, this definitely drives that I would be taking South Florida in this game.
I like South Florida too. I don't know much about them, but they only lost to Alabama by like 5 earlier in the year.
Yeah,
Like they played tough games, and I think they could pull off an upset. And the 11-6 is like
yeah,
it's the most common upset in college basketball.
yeah.
Outside 8-9.
Especially when you're without your star player.
Uh-huh.
And then another big upset opportunity in this bracket or in this region of the bracket is Cal Baptist and Kansas.
You think so?
I do have Kansas winning,
I have
but
Kansas,
I
too.
would definitely put this on upset watch.
The thing with Kansas too, like you look at some of their wins, all their big wins came at home, and obviously I think they had the best.
They
home
probably
court-
have the worst team chemistry of
I think
all time.
I think they had the best home court advantage in the league.
Yeah.
And that's where they get their big wins. But you look like outside their away games, the last 10 games, they're 1-4 away and 4-1 home.
Yeah.
So I don't see them like making that big of a run. I think they survive Cal Baptist.
It comes down to if Darren Peterson shows up. I have St. John's moving on anyway in the round of 32.
So do I.
But at the same time, Cal Baptist has a player, Dominique Daniels Jr., who might be one of the best skilled guards that I've ever seen. He's 5'10", he's undersized, but he's a pure shot maker. He's great from three. He can take you inside. He's a great lay package. And if this guy can, do what he's been doing, granted, he's been doing it in a low major conference in the WAC.
Yeah.
He was the WAC player of the year. But I do think that Cal Baptist would have a shot in this game. This is one of the 13-4s that I like. Again, I would pick Kansas here, but I'd definitely put this game on upset watch.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go into the round of 32 for this region or keep going down for 16?
Yeah.
Right.
One more thing I want to talk about with this region, obviously, is a big game for me at least.
UCLA UConn.
Is UCLA UConn.
Yeah. So for us, we're two Big East fans. We watch Big East all year. I think
UConn's been cold.
is the most overrated team in the Big East by far. St. John's embarrassed them 2 out of the 3 times. And I don't think UConn can play the UCLA, who's been hot. Like UConn has losses to Creighton, Marquette,
Yeah.
who else? St. John's twice. And all the past 3
St. John's
weeks.
3 times.
Twice.
Oh, yeah, no, twice.
All
yeah.
in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I just don't see UConn going anywhere in this tournament.
And I do think that UCLA is hot. They're coming off 2 wins against
Michigan
Illinois, Michigan State. Obviously, they lost to Purdue in the semifinal of
That was a close
the
game.
Big Ten. Yeah, but that was a close game. Purdue ended up going on to win it. And they're going to get Donovan Dent back, it looks like, for this game. The former New Mexico State transfer. So I do like UCLA to at least give UConn a shot in this game, especially with how cold they've been.
And then also Michigan State, I think, is going to beat South Florida. And I do not see UCLA losing to Michigan State.
Yeah, I was going to say
Again,
the same
because
thing.
Michigan State just lost them.
Yeah, my East Region final for this bracket is actually, well, I'll go into this first. A big Sweet 16 game is Duke St. John's.
Yeah.
I think Duke is a great team. I do think they're a little overvalued, and I think St. John's is a little underseeded.
I agree.
When you go 28-6 and you win the Big East, you win the Big East tournament, I don't know how you can be a 5 seed when you're staring at UConn that's a 2. I think St. John's should have at least been a 3 or a 4.
I think this is the hardest game Duke's going to have in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
100% with St. John's defense. Also, Foster comes back in the Final Four, they're predicting. So if Duke can survive St. John's, then I think they can go on to win it.
Me personally,
But
I do have St. John's advancing. But
I have Duke advancing, but by like a little bit. I think it's going to be a close game.
yeah, it'll definitely
It'll
be
be
one
a
of
close game.
the better games. So then, either way, for me, I do have St. John's UCLA in the final for this bracket, and I do have St. John's coming out of the East.
Yeah,
But I can definitely
I
see
have Duke, Michigan State.
yeah. I can definitely see the Duke scenario.
I
Yeah.
agree. All right, let's go down to the South.
South, yeah,
So this is definitely, I think, the weakest out of all the
probably.
all the regions. So
There's a few like upset watch, I'd say, but I don't have. I mean,
like Clemson
VCU is
against
my
Iowa.
only upset.
What's your only upset? VCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like Nebraska Troy obviously because there's the narrative Nebraska's never won a single
Yeah,
NCAA
that's gonna
tournament
be a
game.
big game. I think is that tonight.
Yeah, it is. It's at 12:40.
All right, yeah. So that's a good game to watch just
Yeah.
because Nebraska will get their first tournament win, which is huge for.
You
a
never
Big Ten.
know though. You never know.
Yeah.
And Nebraska has definitely cooled off from their
100%.
start. Yeah. Losses to Michigan, Illinois, twice to Purdue.
Yeah.
So I would also put this game on upset watch, but again, I like Nebraska here. And then my only first round upset in this region is VCU over North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
I have
VCU
VCU
is they're a good team. They won the A-10s. In my opinion, the best mid-major. I don't know what you would say about that.
I disagree.
Really?
I think the bet. I don't know. I do not. I don't really.
It's
like
them or the West Coast.
Is the West Coast that has Gonzaga and stuff?
It's Gonzaga, St. Mary's,
Yeah,
and Santa
I
Clara.
don't think I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's-
I think I have North Carolina. I have
Because
VCU winning.
The drop off and if you're going, we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but if you're looking at overall the best conference, yeah, like the top of the West Coast is probably better. You got Gonzaga, St. Mary's, but on the other hand, the drop off is insane. Whereas like there are A-10 teams that are solid, serviceable, D1 teams. Obviously, they have St. Louis and VCU in this tournament, but either way, North Carolina will be without Caleb Wilson.
Yeah.
He's obviously out for the year.
Did
Did you see that they're hanging his jersey? That they're
Nah,
retiring
nah.
his jersey?
Really?
It's ridiculous. He didn't even do anything.
I didn't even know Caleb Wilson was out.
Yeah, he is out.
Yeah.
So,
So-
I think that's
That's
in
a
my
big-
opinion, that's the reason that I don't think anyone should be picking North Carolina, especially with how cold they've
I have
been.
North Carolina. This one. I always think VCU is
Really?
overrated in the tournament.
Yeah.
But I could see VCU winning. I have VCU in another bracket.
Mm.
And the thing when what was I gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say. Oh well.
Yeah, well, I just think that North Carolina, obviously, when you don't have your best player, your best scorer, they haven't been cold, but they definitely haven't been hot. Obviously, a team like VCU, you're coming off just winning the A-10 tournament
A-10
as an underdog. They were not the 1 seed. They weren't the 2. I think they were the 3.
Yeah.
But either way, I like VCU to advance here. I don't like them to advance against Illinois. I think Illinois is too good for them.
I like Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely think that this VCU North Carolina is similar to Louisville South Florida, especially with their 2 stars being gone. That I definitely like the 11 seeds here.
And then for St. Mary's, Texas A&M. I know a lot of people are picking Texas A&M. I love St. Mary's. I like St. Mary's a lot, so I have St. Mary's advancing in this. But
I
what do you
also
think?
St. Mary's.
You like St. Mary's too?
I think Texas A&M is slightly overvalued.
I think it's one of those big, or the SEC team that.
Yeah,
I
like
just don't like-
21-11 in the SEC. Yeah, they've had good wins, but at the same time, I mean, their only good win is Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think that's their only quad 1, because Auburn definitely isn't a quad 1. They have losses to Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is a bad loss. This is a team that I think definitely should not have been in
No.
the tournament. I'd rather
think-
have a team like Seton Hall in
I
here
agree.
that actually,
They can
took
keep.
teams close,
Yeah.
took a few teams to overtime. And how many quad wins did Seton Hall end up with?
I think 1 or 2. That was their worst. That's why they didn't make the tournament.
Yeah.
But
But
Otherwise-
you look at this Texas A&M team, I think they only have 1.
yeah.
So I would definitely say that this is one of the SEC teams that got I
don't know
think
if
honestly, I don't know how they got a 10 seed because I would have had this team first 4 out.
Yeah.
Like I would have given this position to all of maybe not NC State, but I would have given this position to
Just all those
Texas,
other teams.
SMU,
Miami
and Miami,
deserved
Ohio
more,
before it.
But
Yeah.
also, back with the Seton Hall thing, I think this may be a little biased. With Seton Hall's defense, I thought they could compete with any team.
Yeah.
Or not any
They
team,
were
but I
great.
think they could have made it a couple games.
Their
Compared to
offense
some
was
of these
just
other
so
teams.
inconsistent,
Yeah.
which is what really ended up hurting them. But I definitely agree that they were punished for a weaker Big East this year.
Yeah.
So what about your final for this bracket?
I have Florida Houston.
Uh,
I think Florida is the healthiest team in the whole tournament.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I look at that matchup. I look at last year's college basketball championship. And I'm like, there's no way Houston can lose 2 times to Florida.
Yeah.
So I picked Houston to go to the Final Four.
I have that exact same Elite Eight, all
Yeah.
chalk, 1 versus 2. And same thing, I also like Houston here. I think Kingston Flemings is
Yeah.
too good of a player. I think he's better than Thomas Hawk. And, Florida definitely has pretty good depth. I think they're one of the biggest, I think they have the best big men in the
Yeah,
country.
I agree.
Between Thomas Hawk, Alex Condon, and I forget the other dude's name. But
Is he the really tall guy?
he's like I think he's like foreign, I think he's from South Africa or something.
Yeah.
But between them 3, they're very good. in the front court. However, I just love Kingston Flemings. I think he's better than Xavier Lee. And I also like Emmanuel Sharp. I think their guard play is great. And as we know, good guards win you the
March Madness
the
games.
tournament.
Yeah.
Also, Florida, they just won the SEC, but they've been extremely.
They didn't win that. Well, they lost in the tournament. Right?
Yeah, no. I mean the regular season.
Yeah.
But they've been extremely inconsistent this year.
Yeah, they went on a hot run though.
No,
SEC.
yeah, they definitely.
But that's
did.
also with a weaker SEC, like I said, the SEC being overrated.
Yeah.
But a game I want to talk about, I think Vanderbilt beats Nebraska. You can agree with.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's a rematch of the SEC tournament.
This is
Vanderbilt
another
versus
close
Florida.
game. There's no way Florida loses twice in a row.
I think there's no way Florida loses twice in a row
Yeah,
with how good of a team they are. So.
Yeah. You want to move on to the West here?
West, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, a lot of people are obviously making the Long Island joke here, putting the Fins
I'll
up.
take it a lot,
Yeah. I think Arizona is the best overall team in the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they
I can
have
argue.
the most amount of answers to any question you could pose. But I'm excited to watch this game, definitely.
Yeah, just to see what LIU
Yeah.
can do. And then the next game, Villanova, Utah State. I like the Mountain West. I always liked them.
Yeah.
So I thought Utah State was good all year. I said it earlier in our podcast this year. I think Utah State's going to beat Villanova.
Yeah. Historically, the Mountain West is not good at all in the tournament.
But recently they've been pretty good.
Yeah, they have. And also, so I do have Villanova, but I also have some personal bias. If I was not a Villanova fan, I'd probably not pick Villanova to advance here. This just isn't a great matchup for Villanova. They're without their power forward, Matt Hodge, went down for the year with a torn ACL. And, Utah State is a team that's experienced, unlike Villanova, a lot of sophomores, freshmen, juniors, only one senior. And they're also big. Villanova has a center, Duke Brennan, one of their better players. He averaged over 10 rebounds a game, a double-double. But then the only other big man would be Braden Pierce, who I think might be starting. I don't know how they're going to play the lineup yet, because what they had to do is obviously slide in. Basically, as of late, they've been playing 3 guards, a small forward, and a center. So it'll be very interesting to see how they match up with size, especially in this tournament. This is just a bad draw for them, not the type of tournament. They have good guard play, but I don't think they're big enough nor athletic enough to really do anything this year.
So also with Kevin Willard too, he always is known for first round exits, especially as the 8 or 9 seed. I think last year was the only year where he's actually advanced in the tournament.
Yeah.
Even with like the 2016 team that was really, really good, they were still first round exits. So I really don't see Villanova going anywhere.
Yeah. Another team I want to talk about in this region is Arkansas. I have them going to the Elite Eight to face Arizona, but I think I do have Arizona, but I think
they're like
they
the
could win
St.
that
John's
game.
Duke situation. It's the same
Yeah.
situation.
I was between picking either St. John's over Duke or Arkansas over Arizona, and I did end up landing on St. John's over Duke, but I like Arkansas over Arizona just as much.
I did 2 brackets, so I had the opposite. I have Arkansas. In this one I have Arizona over Arkansas, but the other one I put Arkansas over Arizona just because I think Arkansas can beat Arizona.
Yeah, I think Darius Acuff has proven he's the best freshman. I think that he should be the number 2 overall pick.
You think? Yeah, I think he's good. He's really good.
I like him more than I like Tabonsa and Cam.
BYU.
I think the Cam Boozer goes, but I think it'll be Boozer, Acuff, Tabonsa. I really like Acuff. I think he's
very
probably the most skilled player in the tournament. He's a great scorer, averaging around 23 points a game. And I don't think Wisconsin will be too much of a problem with them. If anything, I think Wisconsin's slightly overseeded. 24-10 at the 5. They actually lost to Villanova earlier in the year.
I think
They have had
they have
some
really
good
good wins, but their losses stink. Like, I know Ohio State's good, but I think they went on to win against Michigan State. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then Illinois, then Michigan, and then they lost to Ohio State by 30 at home. Like,
They also got blown out by BYU earlier in the year.
Yeah. This
So
another game I have BYU going far. I have BYU going in my Elite 8. I think they handled Texas without a problem. I don't think Gonzaga is that good this year either.
Neither do I.
And then I have BYU Purdue. I think Purdue always loses, so I picked BYU to win one more.
Yeah, I really would have liked BYU in this tournament if they still had Richie Saunders. They sputtered for a bit there. But overall, I do think BYU advances to the Sweet 16. for me, it's Arizona, Purdue. I think Purdue's very hot right now. Obviously, just won the Big
Big
Ten.
Ten. Yeah.
But I also see the other scenario. I think the BYU is the only good 6 seed.
Yeah.
In my
I agree.
opinion,
I think
I don't
they're
have trust
the
in any of the other
strongest
3. Yeah.
And then also I have Missouri over Miami. I just think
Same.
the home court advantage for Missouri, it being in St. Louis,
Yeah.
is huge for Missouri.
That should help them out. And then in the Elite Eight, I have Arizona beating Purdue, advancing to the Final Four, joining St.
Arizona,
John's and Houston.
I have Arizona over BYU too. I just think they
Yeah.
can make it.
And then in the Midwest, something that immediately jumps out to me is Texas Tech, Akron. I do have Akron in this game. I think they're the best 12 seed overall. They just won the MAC, beating Miami, Ohio, who looked really good last
I
night.
don't know if they beat Miami Ohio this year. They definitely no.
Oh no, yeah,
Miami
they
did.
didn't.
It was
because they were-
closer though, I think.
Yeah, because they were opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do like Akron in this game. Obviously, Texas Tech is without JT Toppin, their best
They
player,
look shaky without him. But
and yeah, they have looked very shaky without him. You look at their recent games, a loss to Iowa State, a loss to Kansas. So I don't know how I feel about this team without JT Toppin,
yeah,
and I think that Akron has the size and the and
I agree.
the experience to
I
do
thought
something.
Texas Tech could sneak by Akron, but after watching that Miami game last night and seeing what the MAC could really be made of,
Yeah.
I may switch and pick Akron over Texas Tech.
Yeah. Something that I've been going back and forth about in this region is definitely Georgia St. Louis.
Yeah,
I think
so
St.
have I.
Louis is a good team. You
They're
know,
both
I think
teams
they're
who-
skilled.
Who's like, they've slipped up a little. Both these teams. Recently.
Yeah. So I really don't know who I want in that matchup.
I think I was going St. Louis just because the 9 over the 8 is.
I think I took St. Louis too. But this is definitely going to be one of the better games. This game is tonight at 9:45.
Yeah.
And then another game that jumps out to me, we just talked about it kind of, is Miami, Ohio, Tennessee.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we will be there. Again, we talked about it earlier. Miami, Ohio looked great last night.
Yeah.
And even if I think either way, I was probably gonna pick the winner of this
Over
game.
Virginia?
Yeah, or no, over Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
After just watching that second half, I knew I was gonna stick with the 11. I
Yeah.
like them over Tennessee. However, I don't over Virginia. I think Virginia's
I
one
think
of the better
Virginia's
teams.
good, but
I have Virginia's to
they've
the
slipped.
Elite
They're
Eight.
1-3 in top 25.
Nah.
I think Virginia. They definitely been hot recently, but they haven't really. They beat Miami.
They don't have great wins.
Yeah.
Like-
Their loss to Duke was bad too, 77-51.
Their best win might be Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I want to state with this Tennessee and Virginia team too.
Mm.
They're both slow defensive teams, and if
Yeah.
Miami shoots anywhere close to how they shot last night,
Yeah.
and like could make the pace faster,
Yeah.
I think Miami could go and be the 11 seed that beats the 6-3. Because there's
Yeah.
always one 11 seed that makes it to the Sweet 16.
Mm. I even have one more upset in this region also. I
Santa
actually have
Clara.
Santa Clara over Kentucky.
I agree.
I think Kentucky's been, again, they're another team that's sputtered as of late. Santa Clara's been really hot. They didn't win the West Coast,
they
but
beat
they
St.
beat St.
Mary's
Mary's
twice this year.
Yeah, and they
out of
went to the
3 times.
championship. Santa Clara, I think, has more potential in the tournament than St. Mary's does. Again, their experience. They did lose to St. Louis by 1 point earlier in the year. That was a close game that they easily could have won. And then, yeah, you look at they actually beat St. Mary's twice.
And then like
Two
they were
close
up,
losses
they were
to
up on
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga that whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I think Iowa State's going to take care of Santa Clara pretty easily.
So yeah, same.
My,
But this is more of a game that I'm picking because Kentucky hasn't looked great.
I agree.
Yeah.
Also, my Elite 8 is, or my Sweet 16 is Michigan, Alabama, and then Miami of Ohio and Iowa State. But my Elite 8 is Michigan versus Iowa State, and I think Iowa State moves on.
I have Michigan versus Virginia, with Michigan moving on. So that puts my Final Four at St. John's out of the East, Houston out of the South, Arizona out of the West, and Michigan out of the Midwest.
Yeah, I have 1s and 2s too. I have Duke out of the East, then Houston out of the South, Iowa State out of the Midwest, and Arizona out of the West. My championship's Duke versus Arizona.
Mine's Houston versus Arizona, and I actually have Arizona breaking the, what is it, since 2004?
It's from 1998 because Arizona won in 1997. Where all teams on the East Coast have won.
Yeah, I think like the cutoff is Houston. I think I don't even think that Houston's
Pretty
beaten it.
close.
Yeah,
And
So-
so I have Duke in that championship.
I've Houston, Arizona, and I have Arizona breaking the curse. And winning. I think Arizona. I said it earlier. I think they're the most complete team in the tournament between Koa Pete, Braden Burries,
Yeah.
and they have the best wins. You look at who they beat: Florida, UConn, Bama, BYU, Houston twice, Iowa State twice.
Yeah, Arizona's I think the best team, but if they get Foster back,
Who
Duke,
are
Villanova's winning.
Arizona State's? Yeah, they are. Who is Arizona State's?
Arizona,
Or no, I mean Arizona's losses.
they
Yeah.
lost to Arizona State, I think. If
They lost to Texas Tech. On
that's
February.
with Toppin though.
Yeah,
I
that
watched
was
that
with
game actually.
Toppin.
That was in Arizona too.
Who's the
That was-
other loss?
I think they lost to
These
Arizona
did
State.
too.
Maybe lost them in football.
No, it was a loss to Texas Tech. Wow, and they lost to Kansas. They dropped back-to-back games
Oh,
in
yeah.
February. Yeah.
But otherwise, they've been really, really hot. They've been very good.
Yeah, obviously. I also like to stick with the if you win the best conference in basketball, then you're the best team
Yeah.
in basketball. And they definitely did that. You know, in the Big 12 tournament, they beat Iowa State. They beat Houston. Those are two of my favorite teams in the
Iowa
entire
State,
tournament.
Yeah. I
So-
think the Big 12 is the best conference by far.
Yeah, no. The top of the Big 12 is just ridiculous between Arizona and Houston, and Iowa State's great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I do like Arizona to win here
Yeah.
over Houston, which would actually be pretty interesting because it'd be the fourth time that they've matched up.
This season?
Yeah, because once in the
The Big 12 championship.
yeah Big 12 championship, twice in the regular season, then obviously national championship. I don't know how that's ever happened before. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for us
Yeah.
here on preview of the first weekend.
It should
We'll
be a great weekend.
Yeah, it should be a great weekend. We'll probably get back in here next week for the Sweet 16. We'll kick off next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
And yeah, thank you.
All right.
Now Tommy's got it. Turn around.